I have undertaken a...
Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage, where I just realized that Zelkov has Tetsuya Nomura taste in fashion. I'll just leave it at that. Last time we completed Mikaya's paralogue, and now we're going to be heading out to the other Mage Girl's paralogue, and from a formerly controversial female lord as a character to an actually controversial female lord. We're going to go for Celica's paralogue here, so let's head to the Forgotten Shrine. A place of significance to Emblem Celica, you get the idea. Oh, I don't have Solm's donation level raised enough to adopt flamingos. That sounds weird out of context, but no, like literally you can adopt flamingos with Solm's level up. I'm pretty sure I did actually find one of those flamingos on my first playthrough, just randomly. I think it was in the Seaside chapter. The Caring Princess. More like the Warping Princess, you'll see.
There's something about this island. It's like a magical energy.
The Seabound Shrine was located in a place quite similar to this.
What kind of place was that?
It sat in the Novus Strait, off of Zofia. There was an altar to the goddess Milla in a cave.
I wonder if that means there's an altar here, too.
I wonder if that means it's an altar to me. That would be awkward.
This place reminds me of those days. I'd just begun to experience life. I was so set on how I thought the world should be that I failed to heed my allies' advice.
See, everyone? Celica's issues are intentional character flaws.
That doesn't seem like you. Not to me, at least.
I do fully get the issues with how Celica's written. I'll talk about that in my thoughts on Echoes at the end of this chapter.
Back then, I visited Milla's temple, hoping to learn of a way to save my homeland. Then we discovered there was a necro dragon on the island. That thing could have killed us all.
And suddenly she switches to her smiling thing. Okay. Yeah. On hard mode, there's 2 necro dragons, and that actually messed me up. Like, that's a legitimately difficult battle. But something interesting I find about this is, you know how they played coy with which ending was canon for Roy earlier? Well, here they've just casually admitted that the Seabound Shrine is canon in Echoes. Even though, like, it makes sense because it's really iconic, but it's easy to forget that that was an optional battle in the original game.
And we'd already fought a band of pirates. Saying it now, I realize how reckless we were.
It is kind of interesting, though, that Celica's reminiscing on her youth and just, I guess how dumb she and her allies were back then.
It sounds to me like you were helping people as you traveled.
Yes, helping people and also being on a boat. A lot.
So, would you have chosen the same as I did?
Of course. I couldn't ignore anyone in need, no matter how dangerous the situation might be.
Aaliyah, actually, she was talking about choosing to become a witch for dumb reasons.
I know you wouldn't. You're courageous and strong. That's why we're here.
I suppose I don't understand. What do you mean?
This is where you will face your trial. Defeat me in combat, and our bond will grow stronger.
You'd think Aaliyah would be used to it by now. This is like one of the last paralogs you unlock, although it's technically possible that you haven't done any of them by now.
Now take up your weapon, and let's see where your courage can take you.
I understand, and I'm going to win.
You might notice in the background there is a ship. Obviously, this being Celica's paralogue, we start on board a ship. Yeah, Gaiden was like the first Fire Emblem to have a ship chapter now I think about it, and it had way too many ship chapters, in many people's opinion. So, wait, there's only 7 enemies at the start of this map. That can't be right. Well, 3 of them are fabrication worms, and quite strong ones, in fact. Decently strong, at least. And the other 3 are priests. And, well, let's just say there's something about these priests that we'll get into. But we also have Celica herself. She's, like, right there. I think that's where, like, the shrine was originally. And yeah, they gave Celica a star. Oh, that's why they couldn't give Micaiah staves, though. I just realized, because the emblems are only using their emblem weapons, and none of Micaiah's emblem weapons are staves. But yeah, she has Warp Ragnarok. She can go up to 10 spaces with it. She also has Echo, which almost killed Alchrist earlier on, so I need to remember that. Holy Stance... Well, yeah, that's not going to help her. It would have been really interesting if there were anti-corrupted weapons in Chapter 22, but yeah. Stat-wise, just pretty standard. Good resistance, good magic, okay speed. She's getting a boost to her avoid for... Oh, because of the terrain, right, yeah. Kind of funny because magic would ignore terrain in Gaiden, but it also sapped your HP. So, let's see unit selection. Yeah, we can only bring 10 people here. So here's the thing. If you want to kind of do this chapter quote-unquote right, you really need to move fast. So high movement characters like flyers and also warp staves. Those are really useful here. In fact, even though Ivy just got Micaiah, like to higher levels, I'm almost wondering if it's better if I... Should Ivy take Celica for the warping? Oh wow, I'm dumb. Of course she can't take Celica, because we're fighting Celica.
Micaiah, here I go!
Well, forget that. Yeah, I was just being silly there. Don't even think I'll need Thunder here, because, oh yeah, I've got a few rewarps. I'll probably only need one use of rewarp here. Also, you very much should bring Byleth to this map. Byleth is extremely useful. What kind of sucks is that somebody's going to be forced to start on the ship's bow where they're not going to really be able to do much. Actually, if that person is Yunaka, she can at least run forward with Sigurd. We also have access to a flame cannon. Now, why would you need something that delays enemies on a map like this? There's barely any enemies. Well, you'll see. And so, let's begin.
The preparations for battle are complete. Let's begin.
Yeah, these are Cantor stand-ins.
There. See the summoner? If we don't take them down quickly, things could get rough.
The gimmick of this map is that these summoners will endlessly call forth reinforcements if you don't deal with them early. So, obviously, you want to take down the summoners before, as early as possible before they become a problem.
Me, right?
And of course, this is with Miller's Divine Protection. Why would it be anything else?
The choice is yours.
Like Lynn's theme, it's pretty much a straight remake of the original song. There's not really much variation, if I'm remembering right. But with Miller's Divine Protection is kind of... I think the reason why it's so iconic to Gaiden is that it was like one of the first Gaiden songs most people heard because it was in Smash Brothers. Oh, I can't actually get in range. Okay. Okay. In that case...
You got it!
Yeah, I believe this part of the song was in the original... Well, 2 Divine Pulses, because I was dumb there. Let me just quickly lock in how far you can go. Okay, yeah, so the furthest Amber can go is here. Okay, yeah, so here's my plan. I am going to unleash a Warping Amber to try and take out one of those summoners on the first turn. So let's go, Actually, can I even do that? So Amber has like 6, right? Because he had boots. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think Amber will be able to. I need to, I just need a longbow, really. Just want to get rid of at least one of them. Because that's why I said that it's very important to have a lot of mobility on this map, because you kind of want to get rid of these guys as soon as possible, otherwise you will be in for a bad time. And that is an instant wipe. Let's do that. Okay, so that is 1 summoner down.
Just like a hero.
We absolutely must not stay away from these summoners. In fact, you're the exact opposite of a hero in Final Fantasy X, because you're killing summoners rather than protecting them. But it is kind of fun that they're doing a callback to the Cantors from Gaiden.
Your orders, please.
It's so weird. I forget exactly what they were called in the Japanese version. But I know that their skill that some actually speaking of okay.
Here goes.
Alear, I've got a plan here. I want to see if Divinely Inspiring plus Astrostorm can take down another one of the summoners on the first turn. We will see. It can, okay. I'm gonna go for the other close summoner. I don't even need Lunas here. So the thing, a lot of people dislike Alcaraz as a unit because they think that he's reliant on Lunas to, like, actually sort of kill stuff. And yeah, I guess you could use another, like, Archer. But, like, most of the enemies that I'm using him on, I don't really need Luna against them. It's just a bonus. And I just wanted a bow user, and I just really, really like Alcaraz as a character, so that's why I'm using him. Oh! Okay, you do way more damage than I should have engaged with Ike. I am silly. Oh, wow, you get doubled. Okay, yeah, I was about... I did say that, yeah, this map is going to be harder. Please tell me the fourth one can't reach me. It can't. Oh, no, it can't. Okay, that's fine, but that was almost bad. But yeah, I did say this was going to be more of a challenge. I meant it. Okay, so then those reinforcements come. So the really funny thing about these reinforcements is they all have warp staves, and this is actually kind of a clever move. They warp the worms closer to you, which, like, again, I just think that's actually a really cool idea. Okay, now Amber is in need of serious rescuing at the moment. I have my Binding Blad, which I can use on you. Yeah, I remember when we used to just call Binding Blade Sword of Seals, which it is called the Shrine of Seals in Fire Emblem 7, so there's no real reason not to, like, why it shouldn't have been called that, but I mean, I suppose Binding Blade has, like, alliteration going, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I always felt that Binding Blade was, like, a bit of a mistranslation, but anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. It's a totally different it's a totally different, like, game I'm referring to there, but I'm just the... See, I don't know if now is the time to be going for, like, a full-on Mega Ivy Warp at the moment. But you still exist, and that is a problem. Oh, you can still Warp Ragnarok me from there. Okay, from there, though... No, she can still Warp Ragnarok. Okay. Also, here is where you can use these to slow down the enemies from approaching you a little, but it's also not going to really help against the Wyverns. I am, like, yeah, I'm directly within 2 spaces of you now, right? So let's do this. Again, just got to remember that, that Clam will win this battle.
Did you see that?
Because he's amazing. But yeah, the enemies here are not to really be underestimated, because Amber almost did, and it almost ended horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Speaking of which, it's entirely possible that Lapis might be in trouble here. Oh, that's why Amber got doubled. It's because they have the flanking ability, which again is my Dungeon Dragons showing, but yeah, it's that, what's it called? You know the thing. Pincer attack, that's it. I also keep thinking that Amber has cancer, but obviously he doesn't.
Whoa! Engage!
You know, I just realized if I had used Great Ether, I think I would have killed the summoner and all of them, but oh well, that's actually slightly problematic now I think about it, but does Lapis have... No, she doesn't have any, like, healing items on her. Actually, I have a silly idea, though. If I have Amber go here, just have Jean heal him. Thankfully, I still have the Treat Staff.
I owe you my life!
And then just send him back in. See, Louis is pretty much totally fine here, like, defensive-wise. He can easily just sit on the front lines and tank things. Okay, you still have Physic. Because I do want Amber to be as close to fully healed as possible. Although he will get resolved if he's lower, so maybe it would have been better if I didn't heal him, but... oh well. I just realized that I've got some, you know, skill inheritance I probably should be doing on the new characters, but I haven't used them yet, so I guess it makes sense for me not to use skill inheritance at the moment.
Here comes Amber!
I forget if you guys start warping the monsters ahead now, or... because I have, like, I've killed off some of the summoners, so maybe that's what, like, aggroes them, but I think I'll stay back here for the time being and use, 80 physical attack with that. That's amazing. Now, is there a way I can use this fire to cover, not, like, literally cover Lapis, but, like... just get a little bit of coverage going here so that not a lot of things can actually, like, get to her that easily. I guess I'll go for this then. Yeah, Aaliyah hasn't really been able to use their new Divine Dragon class that much. I remember, though, on Maddening, I think I actually, yeah, pretty sure that on... Well, you can warp Ragnarok from all the way up there. I guess because this map is actually kind of small, but yeah, on Maddening, I think I used a Bonded Shield combo on this map. But I don't think it was Aaliyah who was using it. I think it was actually Yunaka as a Wolf Knight with some other cavalry I had. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, they warp the corrupted worms in towards you. It's just, it's kind of a cool concept. I mean, it's painful, but it's also pretty cool. And you are indeed going for Amber. I should not have moved him next to a chain attacker. Oh, yikes. Two of them at once. I think Amber's probably dead with the chain attacks. So yes, this map did turn out to be more, challenging. It's always embarrassing when, like, I lose Amber, because he's basically, like, one of my best people. Unless for some reason the rest of the enemies up there decide to be really dumb, but, like, nah, everything's in range of, like, Amber, so it's probably... Okay, I was kind of hoping that you would dodge there, because that means you'd die. However, I still think that Amber is basically dead. I didn't expect two of those to be able to go for him, because there's still a whole bunch of wyverns that will be able to attack. No, there's a few that are going for Lapis. But again, there are a whole bunch of wyverns. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I do not like that. Oh, crap. Please tell me that... Oh, wait, that was probably bad.
That was a fierce battle.
Yes, that was a fierce battle. Please tell me the last one isn't in range. I thought only one of the wyverns could attack Lapis. Okay, only you. And Amber actually is fine. Okay. Wow, Lapis still took the brunt of that, and it kind of worked out in my favor. And Celica's already moving. And you summoned a bunch of Griffins. Yeah, on Maddening, for some reason, I'd reclass my Panette to Griffin Knight. I had her as a Wyvern Knight for most of the game, and she was doing pretty insanely well. She was basically pulling the same combo Amber is here. Well, I mean, it heals you up quite a bit, so I'm kind of okay with you killing only two things, but... yeah, I don't like that. See, there are actually some cases where having more engaged turns could be a detriment, because I kind of want Lyn to wear off soon, so I can actually get it back and then get Astra Storm again. Okay, there's a lot of worms here, though. Quite a lot of worms. And also Celica's moving in, and also that's her range locked in because of Warp Ragnarok, but... Oh, right, yeah, they start having Void Curse pretty quickly, so... Yeah, don't really worry about fighting those things, like right now. I really do want these worms to die. Thankfully, though, there's not much in the way of, like, chain attackers around here. If Amber had Vantage right now... In fact, this map would have been the perfect time for me to actually inherit Vantage on Amber. And try out that combo. In fact, I already did, didn't I? I already had the 50% version. And he's... I think he probably has enough SP to inherit the plus version of it now. Yes, her... Oh, actually... I can make it so I don't need to deal with those Sword Masters at all. I can just go... I can just do this, and then... That will Corrin all of them. Corrin will hit them with the immobilizing face touch of Doom. Yep, there we go. So no more needing to worry about any of those Sword Masters. I can just kind of safely ignore them. Of course, you aren't corrupted, so Louis not, like, effective against that worm or anything. Although, if that Wyvern died... I think Louis may be in range of a worm.
I won't miss! I need to get strong.
Yeah, that definitely broke the damage record that I got with that Tamara Sandstorm last time. Yes, I actually am in range. The problem with that is that, as long as nothing else can attack him, though... As long as nothing else does any damage, I mean. Although, Warp Ragnarok for 34 is quite a bit. Except I can just not take damage at all from this worm by using Twin Strike, so might as well.
Now it's my turn.
Okay, I gotta check if any of them have magic weapons. Or if that summoner is gonna try and use magic on them.
Why do we repeat our mistakes?
Well, hopefully that was not a mistake. In fact, can Celica just... No, she can't get to you normally. And you don't seem to have any movement, so... Yeah, as long as you aren't weird and change that, should be fine here. Also, yes, Yunaka, actually... Huh. Yeah, I actually kind of feel like this is better. And yeah, the reason why she's doing so much damage is because I inherited Lunar Brace on her, so... yeah, let's actually just go for this, because this is safer than having Lapis run in. Hopefully.
There is nothing to fear.
Well, I really hope you're right about that. Because, yeah, Celica can't reach you from there, which is good. And I do believe that you're fine to attack from a distance. Or, I don't know if this will actually kill you, though, the Lancer Reaver. Nope, Lancer Reaver doesn't kill you. And I will still always say Lancer Reaver, not Lance Reaver, because that's how I always used to say it as a kid. Lancer Reaver, Axa Reaver. I always used to wonder if there was a Boa Reaver, but there was not. I like how there's just like a random like boat, like lifeboat down there on the beach. And none of you have magic weapons, so that's fine. I think the only thing that Alcrus is in range of is Celica, and he should be fine. In fact,
Emblem, engage.
I can go Bonded Shield and see if I can do that, and get that 10% Bonded Shield failure rate. Clan and Corrin, huh? Yeah, well, they may actually be useful going forward. In fact, yeah, all three of the dragons are gone now, so, don't have to worry about them anymore. However, don't really want to send Clan in yet. Don't know if that was exactly the best use of, yeah, I might not even end up needing the Ivy rewarp. Well, I guess I can go here just in case, because this could be a fun way to do a rewarp. I'll be rewarping two sort of dance people. Though, if things go right, or wrong, shall I say, Celica might be warping herself, like, right near me. No, she's going for Louis. I thought she would.
Oh, I detest violence.
I forgot you said that! That's like, I don't know why that isn't a meme. That should be a meme. Oh, I detest violence. Drops gigantic fireball, literally named after the Norse end of the world, on your head. I mean, I will say Fire Emblem kind of does have a history of that, because Wendell in, like, Shadow Dragon, he's like, I have no love for war, but he starts as an enemy who attacks you if you get in his range. I don't even know why they did that. Actually, no, I know why they did that. It's because the original game didn't have green units, so everyone had to start either directly on your side or as an enemy, so yeah. It's kind of like Ricard also started as an enemy in that game. But yeah, that game is set in the same universe as Echo, so it is technically still relevant to talk about here. Yeah, look at all those swirls. Yeah, this map is not to be underestimated, but what okay, I need to kill you. But I don't really like the fact that I have to kill you, because you have whatchamacallit, you know.
I'll change the future into hope.
Yeah, you have no, but you have Void Curse, that's it.
I'm still quite capable.
This is really bizarre, but that just makes me think of, well, 1% chance for Louis to die, let's go for it. All for 1,000 gold, but money is valuable in this game. But, like, I just got reminded of the weirdest thing there that I think,
we have you all to thank.
Furret's Japanese name is Ortachi. I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. And, like, when I was a kid, like, other people, like, on the playground used to say that, like, they used to say, oh, there's this really cool new Pokemon, it's called Och, and it evolved into Oak. And they were centered in Furret, but, they were just pronouncing the Japanese Ortachi very strangely.
Still good.
Okay, so here's the plan.
Grant me strength.
And victory, hopefully. Because if we do this, we go not... actually, Great Sacrifice is kind of interesting right now, but no, instead, we're going to re-warp a bunch of people towards Celica. Maybe here, because that way I guarantee they won't get in the way of, Yunaka. And whoop! You know, it kind of fits we're using Rewarp against Celica, because Rewarp is kind of like a staff version of the ability Witches had in her game. Now, we do have a whole bunch of magic users around here. However... No, actually, no. If I Torrential Roar from below, then I don't think I'll step on my own toes at all with this, and I still get to damage her and use Draconic Hex, and I have no chance of missing, and I also kill the Griffin. Not that I want to kill Griffins, because Griffins are a cool animal. Well, mythological creature. It's funny how it looks like that's hitting the Swordmaster, but, like, it's not. It's just the free spaces in front of Clan. And I guess he can go over here. But okay, now you're on the minus a Void tile, and you're frozen, and your stat debuff. That's going to help a lot in the scheme of things. Because I think with that, Amber has a much better shot at taking out... Oh, wow, suddenly he goes from... Well, it's probably the minus a Void tile. But yeah, he went from, like, a 60s hit rate to, like, 100%.
I fight for my...
Well, at least it's not the Knuckles oh no that Fogado says. I still can't believe that. I detest violence, Ragnarok. Well, I mean, at least Ragnarok doesn't crash the game anymore. It was kind of like, Ragnarok was infamous because it crashed, like, the original fan translation of Fire Emblem Gaiden. Like, I don't know why, like, the original fan translation was just... Like, that was one that was, like, it had to call, like, archers, like, Arch or R, because there wasn't enough space. And, oh, of course, Robin, so there's a character in Fire Emblem Gaiden called Robin. He was renamed to Tobin in the English version because there was already a Robin in English, but his Japanese name is Robin. But I've probably told this story before, but it's just, I still keep telling it because it's just so funny to me. In the original fan translation of Gaiden / Echoes,
Here we go.
well, probably not Echoes, but, you know, Gaiden. Because there wasn't enough space for characters to call him Robin, he had to be called Bird. And then also Claire and Clive, it's just a lot of, like, I appreciate early fan translations for actually, you know, letting us play a lot of the older games, but at the same time, they definitely missed the point of a lot of the mythological references. Like, they clearly did not get them at all, because, like, in addition to things like that one character I referenced in Leaf's Paralog, she's named after, like, an actual Celtic legend, I think, but the fan translation missed it, so called her Dietvar. And then also, like, even the three Mage Sisters were named after a myth, but instead they got called Meng, Bleng, and Maybell. I think, no, I think it was the Pegasus Knights. No. The Mage Sisters were like Fetra, Vampa, and Eliu, which is not meant to be how they originally were at all. But, yeah, so the thing about, like, missing mythological references that I wanted to mention is that, Claire, like, the names that in Japanese, it's like Kurea and, like, Kurebu or something like that. They were clearly always meant to be Claire and Clive, even in Japanese. But no, the original Gaiden fan translation called them Klee and Klub. No, why would you think that is okay? I mean, I have a 12% crit rate. I think this will probably still level up Clan. But, like, I shouldn't be giving the early fan translations too much flack, because, like, they are how we first got to experience those games, and, you know, I say we, but, you know, not a lot of people really, kind of in that part of the fandom anymore who actually, you know, played those old games with fan translations. But yeah, like, I think they were definitely done by, like, a lot of people who were just, like, in high school and only had basic knowledge of Japanese and didn't really get what a lot of the myth references were meant to be. Like, admittedly, I'm kind of guilty of that, because there's a lot of things in my Ace Attorney Investigations 2 fan translation that I really wish I could go back and change, if I could, because they're just not, like... There's a lot of things I did in that I feel were mistranslations or just generally weren't that great. I mean, I can try this.
Allow me.
Okay, we got it, okay.
Why do we repeat our
I said
mistakes?
okay twice. In fact, I think I remember that I did make decent use of, like, duplicates from summoning in this map, because it's not just, like, Cantors that can summon, you can also summon in Gaiden. But okay, let's finish this.
Here we go.
Amber adds yet another
So be it.
legendary hero to his account, except Aaliyah takes the kill. And Amber doesn't even level up. But yeah, that one was also quite short, like Micaiah's Paralog, but that was intense, like, honestly. Like, that was... I'm surprised I got through that with no rewinds. It actually gave us a bit of a challenge, even at this level, and I like that.
The victory is yours. That was very well done.
Thank you, Celica.
You grow stronger, along with the power of your bonds.
It's kind of funny she's saying that, because Gaiden wasn't really a particularly power of friendship-y game, from what I remember.
Keep forging deeper connections with your allies as you fight this war. Do that, and you will have the strength you need to save this world.
Admittedly, Echoes did add support conversations, which was cool. They were pretty short, but they were fully voiced at least.
I understand, and I'll do my best to strengthen the bonds I have, and forge new ones if I can.
Well, actually, we just got the last characters we'd get in the main story, so no real time to forge new bonds unless you think DLC characters.
Once you've used that strength to bring peace, it will be your kindness that you will lean on. With kindness, you can build a world where no one hurts for the sake of hurting.
Do you really think that's something I can do?
Oh, the road will be long and treacherous, but you're just the person to make the journey.
Yeah, some of these emblems are like she's being like Sigurd and focusing on like what Aaliyah will do after the war is over, which does make sense.
If you say so, Celica. I suppose there's no choice other than to try.
I like how one of the developer interviews about like Echoes basically said that like they weren't allowed to put in like free pairings like the other 3DS games because Alm and Celica have to get together in order for the plot to make sense for the future.
Well, keep doing your best. We'll bring kindness back to the world.
Yes, we will.
Because, you know, like Valentia wouldn't have become unified otherwise. But anyway, Celica's higher bond levels. Celica's stat bonuses cap out at +3 strength, +5 magic, and +4 resistance. This is notably tied for the highest magic boost of any emblem, and the one it's tied with is DLC, making Celica great for offensive mages. But most notably of her higher bond levels are her upgrades to her sync skills. Holy Stance goes from a joke to much more significant, reflecting 30% of corrupted damage at bond level 12 and 50% at bond 18. Even better, from the point when Celica's Paralog unlocks, almost every generic enemy in the main story is a corrupted, so this is going to be active almost all the time on the enemy phase. And she even gets a better version of Resonance at bond 16, dealing +3 damage with tomes for no additional cost in HP. Her bond 15 weapon is Ragnarok, the same one used for her engage attack, only this time it's usable during normal combat and can double. Its only downside, besides being a bit heavy, is having no secondary effect, which is rare for a bond 15 weapon. Celica's higher level inheritance is an odd mix of very underpriced and very overpriced. For how strong they are from this point on, the Holy Stance skills are very cheap. I don't recommend them on mages, but on someone bulky who sees a lot of enemy phase, this works wonders. Tome Precision is also pretty cheap. The same cannot be said of the Magic Plus skills. Resonance Plus is fairly easy to inherit if you use the well. Just bear in mind, that HP reduction can put you into kill range of enemies, so always use with caution. So, Echoes and Gaiden. I've already kinda said my piece on those games in some other videos, but... Okay, so let me start from kind of the beginning. I never played the original Gaiden. And I was planning on for a long time. In fact, at some point, I thought that I was going to do Gaiden on the channel because it was a little bit, it wasn't really covered by a lot of people.
Well then.
And it seemed kind of interesting. Oh, that's kind of funny because, yeah, there's not a lot of, like, shops in... In fact, are there any, like, standalone shops in Gaiden apart from, like, wandering merchants who aren't even Anna? I don't think there are. But anyway.
Right.
And then the remake Echoes got announced. And And yeah, like, it was kind of interesting seeing another remake after 2 sort of full 3DS games, and especially, like, when I first heard that Echoes was going to have fully voiced dialogue, I was like, no, you're kidding. You're kidding. There's no way they're going to voice every single line of dialogue, and they did. So, Echoes does have absolutely phenomenal production values, like the art, the music, the voice acting.
Divine one.
All of it is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
The problem for me is everything else. So from what I gather, and I'm not trying to knock him or anything for this, but the person who directed Echoes was actually a massive, massive fan of the original, but was very, very attached to keeping the original as faithful as possible, for better or worse. The thing is that Echoes retroactively made me appreciate retroactively made me appreciate Shadow Dragon. I used to not like Shadow Dragon, but looking back, I find that Shadow Dragon struck a good compromise of keeping, like, being faithful to the original, while also modernizing the gameplay. Echoes did not really modernize the gameplay much, outside of adding support conversations, and it really shows. Gaiden has a lot of weird jank. Its map design in particular is my biggest problem. Most of the maps are just bland, flat plains with you just fight, oh hey, it's all cavaliers, or all dark mages. Or they're giant swamps that are extremely irritating to walk through because they damage you and slow down your movement. Or they're indoor maps where for some reason, every single tile, oh hey, a flamingo did spawn. Unfortunately, we are not authorized for flamingos, which was one of the rare cases where this makes sense. I mean, they're a pretty exotic animal. I'd imagine it would take a lot to care for them. That's kind of funny, because this place literally was a holy place in the original, though it's been taken over by a zombie dragon. But, yeah, there's that, and then also just, like, It's weird. Like, for some reason, one of the main appeals of Fire Emblem to me is watching my characters, like, grow and develop over the course of a playthrough. And for that, I like to watch my characters gain experience, and you gain experience very slowly in Echoes. And when you do level up, characters' growths are very low across the board.
Divine one.
So there's that, and so not a huge fan of the gameplay of Echoes. And here's, like, the issue. Yeah. You know how some people kind of fall out of Engage because of not really liking the story? Well, I'm not a huge fan of the story of Echoes. And I say Echoes specifically. The original Gaiden, I think, was fine. Echoes added things to the plot that I feel did make it worse than the original in some regards. And normally I wouldn't be bothered by that, but because I don't really like the gameplay either, suddenly I really don't have much in Echoes that appeals to me aside from the art style and the voice acting. Like, I will say, the characters and the cast, which is the same thing, are very good. It elevated characters I originally found forgettable to being some of my favorites in the series. Like, May and Bowie are so good. Gray and Tobin are amazing in Alm's story. Clive is a really good character. Although I take massive issues with the fact that, like, there's a lot of fans who are like, oh, make sure you have Matilda die because Clive's speech, if she does, is amazing. It's literally the same speech he gives if Matilda survives, just with, like, one line changed. Most of the questioning he has of Alm's leadership is the same, regardless of what happens. Okay, expert books, no. Another warp staff, that's even better. But just, okay, it's hard for me to fully explain what my issues with, like, Echoes' story are. The main thing is I feel like they added themes that were not present in the original, which kind of clash. For one, the Nobles versus Commoner theme, which doesn't really go anywhere aside from Fernand, a new character who is just kind of like an enemy who just you fight a couple of times and then he gives a tragic speech near the end and dies. And then the whole thing they did with Miller and Duma, that is my biggest issue, but that and the whole Witch Celica subplot, I've ranted about that before. It really only exists just to have an action prologue. It goes nowhere. Alm, like, instantly de-brainwashes her once they reunite, and it's so sad to me that Celica being straight up damseled by Jeddah in the original Gaiden, I outright think that's better. It's just, like, that really says something. Because it just makes it look like Celica makes a lot of dumb decisions. I know she's meant to be flawed, but Celica's insanely contentious, and she kind of started the trend of, Fire Emblem has this thing with female lords. Female lords are always controversial. Off the top of my head, probably the least controversial female lord is Lyn. And even Lyn has her issues, like the fact that she's kind of over-promoted in Heroes. Like most of Lyn's issues come from backlash over her popularity. As a character, she's generally benign. Like, most people either like her or are indifferent to her. There's very few people who think Lyn is like a horrible character or anything. But like every other female lord, I swear, like Celica, Micaiah, Erica, like all of them are insanely controversial for one reason or another. And it's weird because Fire Emblem's non-lord female characters are generally very well liked. Like in this game, like you got Yunaka, Lapis, Ivy, even Anna, Tamara's great. People love the non-lord females in Fire Emblem. It's just the female lords. I guess having more dialogue in the main story makes them more open to scrutiny. But really, I mean, I'm not really qualified to talk at length about, like, the reasons why Fire Emblem has an issue with writing female lords, because it kind of falls into the broader issue, I feel, of, like, writing female main characters that, like, if they're too flawed, they're sexist, and if they're not flawed enough, they're a Mary Sue. I mean, I get why female protagonists get a lot more scrutiny in general, because a lot of writing for female characters has not been great historically. Did she literally just say hi, like Kirby?
Lingering taste of victory.
Like, yeah, again, Hortensia, another amazing, like, Hortensia's great. People thought that she was going to be a really bad character, but she's actually very good. I mean, she has a few epi supports, but still, I mean, who doesn't?
I am Corrin. I won't lose.
Oh, speaking of controversial lords, I don't count the avatars as female lords, because I consider the male and female versions of each avatar the exact same character. Like, male Corrin and female Corrin are the same to me, male and female Aaliyah are the same to me.
I wouldn't have guessed it by your usual cheer, but you're quite cool and calculating in battle.
Huh, that's interesting. An emblem random fight in the arena actually pushed you over a bond level.
What, me? Nah. That imagination's gotta be what makes you such a clever fighter, though.
Oh, people do not consider Corrin clever at all. It's something that I forgot to actually go into last time, like, regarding Micaiah. I find it so sad that, really, the entire reason Micaiah got vindicated in the fandom's eyes as a character is because Corrin exists. Like, the moment that Corrin was a thing, the fanbase instantly realized, oh, that's what a badly written lord looks like. Micaiah's fine, actually. And I don't even think Corrin's that bad conceptually, it's just the way that they're handled in the story. Speaking of female lords and double standards, though, I still get really irritated when people say that female Corrin is better than male Corrin because her flaws work better on a girl. Like, that just seems really sexist to me. The fact that, like, Corrin is utterly despised for, like, a lot of those qualities. And people are like, oh yeah, well, if she's a girl, it makes sense, because girls are naive. It's just, I hate that. Huh, Rosado and Lapis support. Didn't know that. Well, yeah, I've got... Actually, no, I already explained it. My other issue with Echoes' story, and I've talked about this before, is my issue with how they portray the dragons in Echoes. It's like, they outright state that going mad is the fate of all divine dragons, and I hate that so much. It's just like saying, oh yeah, this entire race is inherently dangerous to humanity, and should die because we humans are superior and better than all other sentient species. And deserve to rule the world, and yeah, not gonna go into that. I really hate the way that Echo started the trend of portraying like dragons, and thankfully Engage fixed it. Engage went back to saying Sombron's a villain because he's a colossal a-hole, not because he's a fell dragon, and Veil proves that fell dragons aren't inherently evil. Next time, we're gonna continue the main, oh boy, speaking of controversy in Fire Emblem, we're gonna go to Chapter 23, probably the most disliked part about Engage's story, and one of the rare points where I personally agree. So, I'll see you all next time for that mess.